Hello everyone, welcome back to another figure review. My name is Matthew and today we are doing a review of the Playmates City Destruction Godzilla 2014 with Tank. Initially revealed as alongside Playmates' new line of MonsterVerse toys, with the old and new MonsterVerse products now on the shelves again, it's no wonder why this caught the attention of me so badly, because it's the first Godzilla 2014 toy, at least 6-inch wise, in a very long time. No reissues do not count for past figures. But does this figure live up to the hype and my expectations of my 2014 nostalgia? Or does this thing end up burning like the buildings that we see in 2014? Let's find out. First of all, we're not going to start with sculpt and paint just yet. We're actually going to go over the accessories first. See how we're mixing it up this time. So, what does he have in terms of the way of accessories? Well, he's not an accessory-less Godzilla, as he actually comes with a tank. Yes, almost every 6-inch MonsterVerse toy, with the exception of King Ghidorah, comes with its own unique, spitting everywhere, comes with its own unique little vehicle, this one being a tank. Now, the tank in question is just a generic kind of lime green tank. And in terms of how it looks really well. The treads are really well done. The wheels themselves are really well put together. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up a wheel. The kind of top half, like the barrel kind of gun of it, looks really well done as well. And even for a bit of a posability, it's got some spinning action. So if you want your tank shooting one direction or the other direction, you've got it. And believe it or not, you're probably not going to believe me when I say this. In the 8 years that I've been collecting Godzilla figures, this is the only tank that has ever come with any of them. I am not joking. So, and keep in mind, I've collected NECA, SH Monster Arts, Bandai, Diamond Select. So why did it take Playmates of all companies to do that? I don't know. But hey, I'm still happy with it. But wait, there's one more, as it comes with a battle damage piece, which I know people are going to say, oh, but these aren't technically accessories. Yeah, they are. They're packaged separately, and the whole gimmick is to remove them or put them back on, aka an accessory. They fit right in the same category, they're one and the same. So that's why this is considered an accessory by definition. Now, all that aside, for the actual battle damage piece itself, the detail here is absolutely amazing. And to be honest, I'd rather just have this sort of detail throughout an entire figure, which we'll get to the detail itself in just a sec. But the battle damage itself, my main complaint is that it doesn't look natural. Like, say the Mutos actually dug into Godzilla's skin a bit more. Does this look like a chunk of skin that they would rip out right in the movie? Or let alone biologically? No, it wouldn't. Now I know it's a toy. It's not meant to make sense. But the past Playmates toys have had at least somewhat good looking battle damage. But the fact that this is so clean cut in a lot of areas, it leaves very little for the imagination, really. While we're on the subject of the battle damage, you can clearly see what I mean with the battle damage inside, like the red blood. It doesn't look like it's an organic being. It just looks like a giant thing, honestly. It almost looks like the texture of some sort of like volleyball, if that makes any sense, with the two creases inside of it. But to put the battle damage on, I suggest coming in like this and then just pressing it all down together like that. Now, mine does have a bit of trouble staying in, specifically on this side, but it's honestly no biggie. Which brings us to the actual figure, which we're going to start off with sculpt and paint. And I gotta say to Playmates, they've really amped up their game in the sculpt and paint department. There is no doubt about it. When it comes to the overall head mold, I gotta say, it looks rather nice. There is one problem, which we're going to point out in articulation, but you'll probably already know what it is. For the teeth, we've got white strips of paint, and for the tongue and gums, we've got kind of mild salmon kind of pink in there, We got fiery orange eyes, which look kind of doofy, but actually look better than some of the other Playmates Godzillas I've seen. Obviously, you got like the surprisingly blue green colored body, and it honestly looks really nice. Going down to the midsection here, we've got more kind of fiery red sprays among the green blue plastic of the body, and it looks really good all thrown together. And I gotta say again, the detail work is absolutely insane. They did not cut corners on this one like they did with the past releases. They actually took their time, molded every single little detail, aside from the parts where they cut the articulation. Every single part of the body is accounted for. The best part is the feet are actually accurate to the movie. And I say actually because honestly, I was expecting them to just make an entirely remodeled, or well, not remodeled, or just reused 2021 mold, just keep the feet and but just change the spines. Like they did in the flashback of King of the Monsters, but here they're the 2014 feet. They're very huddled together. And I gotta say, they look great. The spines also look really well done, with the mold themselves just absolutely slobber knocking the competition in a lot of different ways. Obviously, it's got that continuous kind of orange spray from this side of the body all the way down to the tip of, well, kind of where you attach the tail. And we'll talk about that in just a sec, but overall, they're really well done. And also, just in case anyone was curious, soft rubber, so you don't need to worry about harming yourself. Now, as for the tail, they kind of go for an opposite effect. See, it seems like the base of here was sprayed, but they just kind of left the tops of the dorsal fins on this part of the body, the main section, almost untouched. Here, it's kind of different. It's much darker on the base, but brighter at the tips of the dorsal fins from here to here. So that kind of gives a little bit of a conflicting, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but it looks very conflicting. But as for the tail itself, it swoops all the way upward and it makes like an S formation, and each little segment of the tail is just beautifully sculpted and it really looks great. My only complaint is that when you can attach the tail, you can already probably tell this, is that this is much more glossy than what's here, and that just does not look 100%. So overall, the sculpt and paint on this guy looks really well done. And I honestly gotta say, it's really good. As for my rating for sculpt and paint, yeah, we're going with ratings. I would have to give it out of 3 stars. I'm gonna give it about 2.5, I would say. Nah, I'm gonna scrap the star rating. I don't feel like that's necessary. But what is necessary to talk about is the articulation, which we're gonna talk about what I was about to say about the jaw. The jaw here is, it looks fine, right? Yeah, whoever sculpted the figure obviously did not pay attention to the length of the jaw, because this is a small jaw. Like, we thought the MonsterVerse GMK had a small jaw. This puts it to shame. Like, you open it up, that looks weird. Well, this looks natural. This looks weird. And so I feel like what they did was they casted it, right? And they made the articulation points, and they didn't really think to accommodate this. So I feel like they should have extended the jaw a little bit so that way it could look a bit more natural. But there you go. Alas, you have a hinge at the jaw, swivel at the head, which it actually moves this time, so you don't need to think about breaking it. Although again, I do think that they put this on the wrong figure. Because of its much more neutral head stance, one would think to move this one, but no, it's on a square peg that doesn't allow for any head movement. But because of the way that this head is positioned, keep in mind, looking straight up and to the right, and giving it articulation that doesn't look good. I mean, his head looks like a snake sometimes. I mean, just look at that. Who's going to pose their Godzilla like that? So you might as well just have it completely static and this one actually moving. So why they gave this one articulation but this one not, I have no idea. For the shoulders, we have swivels, so they can swivel pretty much. I don't think they can go all the way around. And I'm not risking it because that paint job is very, very, very scuffable, if that makes any sense. So yeah, they can go right about that far. And the legs, they can kick about that far forward, that far back. There's no range. It's not loose, but it's a loose connection. I mean, I can actually take and kind of slide it. You hear that? It's not hitting anything but the body. Same thing goes with this leg. Kick forward about that far, backwards about that far, and can even rotate the feet this time around, which again, 2021 version was not able to do. And what might be my biggest complaint about the figure, the tail articulation. Now, when you peg it out of the box, it is a ball joint, right? I'm recording this on the same day I bought it. Mint condition, full. It's perfectly intact. So what seems to be the problem? Well, you rotate it, you think it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's meant to move like a ball joint. Move around, left, right, rotate it. Let me show you something. You see those lines? You see those streaks? You see that vinyl peeling off? Yeah, whatever is in here, which I'm willing to bet it's the seam line right there, it's cutting into the vinyl of this tail. And that just shows, again, they didn't take into consideration of the articulation all that much. So I definitely think Playmates should amp up their game with that. So for some size comparisons, here is next to the SH Monster X Godzilla 2021. And even though, yes, fundamentally he is slightly taller than this figure, they're about the same height. And if you want like accurate scaling, this should be like way girthier. And here he is next to the Playmates Space Godzilla, which I can tell the quality is severely jumped up. And for the comparison I've been personally waiting for, the NECA Godzilla 2014, the only other 6-inch Godzilla 2014 figure in my entire collection. This was the 2010s. This was the 2020s. Where did we fall? Now, as far as the scaling goes, this is what I was talking about. This is the Playmates Battle Roar Godzilla from 2021. I still love that roar. And for my final thoughts, this figure is honestly amazing. Now, let me just clarify. It all depends on how you, as the consumer, view this figure. If you are the type of collector that likes higher end quality figures, don't even just skip this. If you have very lower expectations, you just like getting cheaper figures, this is one of them. If you have a kid that likes playing with Godzilla figures, again, this is one of them. However, I would not recommend this for the adults. If you want a more higher quality Godzilla figure, I would recommend going with the NECA or the Monster Arts, because those are readily available right now. Or, if you want to wait a bit, because Hiya Toys recently confirmed that they're doing a 2014 figure. It's not finished, not up for pre-order yet, or order in general, but they are coming out with one. And Mutos. I might be picking the Mutos up, maybe. Well, that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Jesus loves you. God bless you all. Go there and spread the gospel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.